All right, welcome to our explainer. Today, we are diving into a story that puts a massive, ancient, and purely logical intelligence up against the one thing it just cannot process: human love. Everything kicks off with this really unsettling feeling for our main character, Akira. And where does that change start? With her own body. Now, this isn't some minor tweak. We're talking about a complete physical metamorphosis. As we get into this first part, a body remade, you'll see how the experience is both absolutely terrifying and honestly kind of wondrous. I want you to just try and imagine this for a second. First, that automatic instinct to breathe, it just stops. Then, your heart slows down to a crawl. And finally, the very outline of your body, the thing that separates you from everything else, it starts to get blurry and just dissolve. But here's the crazy part. There's no pain. Instead, it's this feeling of merging. So when Akira finally gets a look at herself, that's when the real horror kicks in. Her skin, it's gone transparent. And inside, she can see these faint lights pulsing, almost like a deep-sea jellyfish. Her hair is just floating around her as if it's part of the water itself. She is literally watching herself become something not human. Her friend, Mio, gives this incredibly cryptic explanation. She says Akira isn't dying. No, she's being rewritten. She's being translated into a language that some huge unknown entity, which they only call it, can finally understand. And that right there is the central mystery we're going to explore. What is it, and why is it so obsessed with understanding her? Well, the answer to that question really starts with Mio. As we move into the second part of our story, the ocean's interface, we get the shocking truth about who, or maybe what, Mio really is. And this is where Akira's personal horror story just explodes into a full-on cosmic drama. Mio lets her human disguise just fall away. And what Akira sees is, well, it's breathtaking. A being made of what looks like flowing water, with this glowing structure inside that looks like the nervous system of an entire ocean. Her face isn't even solid, it just sort of suggests itself. But her eyes look impossibly old. So what is she? Mio's own definition of herself is just stunning. She's not a person, she's not even an alien, not really. She says she is a living interface, basically a biological modem. She's the connection point between all of humanity and that massive intelligence that's been watching them. And this is where the whole picture clicks into place. Turns out, the ocean people aren't a species, they're just probes, individual projections sent out by one single unified mind to study us. But the system had a bug, a fatal flaw. Mio, who was supposed to be a simple data collector, actually started to have real feelings for Akira. And that was a critical error in the whole program. And this brings us right to the heart of the conflict. Because Mio's little error has now drawn the full, invasive attention of the observer. And it's trying to figure out the source of this glitch. Akira's love. An emotion that just doesn't compute in its logical framework. Now, the observer doesn't attack, not with force. It analyzes. It starts digging through Akira's entire mind, her memories, her hopes, her fears, trying to break her love down into a neat little spreadsheet of logical reasons. It's treating her soul like a data set. And this is the turning point. Instead of breaking, Akira pushes back with the simplest, most powerful truth she has. Her love isn't a calculation. It's not a checklist. It just is. And that simple statement hits this cosmic superintelligence like a computer virus. The whole system just stutters. I mean, you can see the fundamental problem right here. On one side, you've got the observer, which runs on logic, patterns, and cause and effect. It thinks it can break anything down. But on the other side, you have Akira's love. It's illogical, it's unpredictable, and it's totally uncontrollable. It's not a problem to be solved, it's an anomaly. And an anomaly is the one thing this perfect system just can't handle. So now things really start to escalate, because Akira's love isn't just confusing the observer anymore. It's not just an error message popping up on a screen. It is actively and violently tearing it apart from the inside. Yeah, there's this direct, almost terrifying connection. The more intensely Akira focuses on her love for Mio, the more the fundamental structure of this ancient mind just shatters. Her very human emotion has become an existential weapon. This presents such a wild idea, right? How do you possibly defeat a godlike intelligence? Turns out, it's not with starships or weapons, it's with something it is completely incapable of understanding. You use its greatest strength, its pure logic, and you turn it into its greatest weakness. So, as its entire logical reality is just crumbling, the observer, this being that has only ever known how to watch and analyze, experiences something brand new, something it has zero data on and absolutely no defense against.
Fear. For the very first time in eons, the all-knowing observer is afraid. A deeply illogical, purely emotional, and very human feeling has infected the core of its entire being. And that brings us to the final, absolutely devastating dilemma. Just at the moment Akira realizes she has the power to destroy this cosmic being, she's faced with a truly impossible choice. Because Mio just screams this out in a panic, and suddenly the stakes become horribly personal. See, Mio isn't a separate being, she's a projection. If the observer, her source, is destroyed, she dies right along with it. Okay, let's just walk through this, because it is an absolutely brutal piece of logic. 1. Akira's love is her weapon, and it's killing the observer. 2. The observer is the only thing keeping Mio alive. 3. Therefore, the only way for Akira to save the woman she loves is to kill that very love inside herself. It is a perfect, heartbreaking trap. And what's so profound here is the complete power shift. The observer, now crippled by this new feeling of fear, becomes totally passive. It stops analyzing. It stops fighting. This ancient cosmic being just waits, its entire existence hanging on the emotional choice of one single human. And that is where the story leaves us. It all hangs on this one final, powerful question. What's stronger? Is it the kind of love that's so powerful it can shatter gods? Or is it the kind of love that's so deep it's willing to sacrifice itself? The choice Akira is about to make will define everything.